Hi everybody, Jake here and welcome to the video, and in today's one we are going to be trying to rebuild Lyon in one episode. This is a bit different to the Wolfsburg series that we've got going on. That's more of a let's play. This is just a one-off rebuild video. We did an Ajax one at the start of FM22. So today we're going to try and take Lyon from being a decent Ligue 1 side who have been challenging near the top but not quite getting there to hopefully overtaking PSG and maybe even trying to win the Champions League in 5 years. We don't get to play any matches. All we get to do is make the transfers, sell players, buy players, do the tactics, and then we just let the simulation take over, and hopefully in these 5 years we can win something good for our team. But with that being said, there's no more messing about. Let's get right into it. Okay, so here we go. We've got a fresh FM22 save as Lyon, and it is time to rebuild them and hopefully take them to glory that they've never reached before. But before we get into the video, if you could hit the like button, that would really mean a lot. It would let me know that you guys are enjoying the content, and as this is something that's a little bit different to what we've been doing on the channel recently, that's always nice to know. It makes me know that I should do more of it, and also it gives us a better chance of more people getting eyes on the channel, on the videos, and hopefully we can gain some more subscribers. So to anyone who is watching who isn't subscribed, we do a lot of Football Manager content on the channel. If you like it, if you enjoy what you see, hit that subscribe button. That would really mean a lot. We're trying to get to 6,000 subscribers. As close to that as possible would be awesome. And finally, last thing before we get into the video, feel free to get involved in the comments, whether you just want to chat about Football Manager, anything about the video, whatever it might be, or if you've actually got any tips and tweaks I can do to these videos to make them more enjoyable. I don't do them all that often, so the more feedback I get, the better I can make them for you guys. But with that being said, that's absolutely everything. And if you do want to help out in the comments but don't know what to say, who's this guy? Tino Cadawa. Just comment Tino. It will really help with the algorithm. Anything like that will be great. But I've spoken enough now. Let's get into looking around Lyon and see what kind of job we've got to do. So, founded in 1950, Lyon are one of the more reputable clubs in France. However, in Football Manager, if you're not PSG in France, you have very little chance of getting anything trophy-wise, just because, as it is almost in real life as well, other than when Lille won it the other year, PSG are very dominant and are very, very good, of course. Their squad is insane. However, Lyon do have a bit of a reputation in Ligue 1 as title winners. They won it 7 times between 2002 and 2008. Never won it outside of that period, but from then on, from 2002 to 2008, they won it every single year. Since then, they became runners-up in 2016. That was the closest they've got to it in a good 10 years. Third place finishes in 2018 and 2019. And while some Lyon fans might be happy with this compared to the might of PSG, I think, any football fan wants to achieve more, and hopefully we can overtake PSG with some shrewd transfer business in this rebuild. They've won some other things as well, but nothing in Europe, nothing of major importance. A lot of French Cups and French League 2 titles. French Cups obviously are important, but not as important as a Champions League might be. If we do check out the facilities, we've got excellent training facilities, superb youth facilities, excellent youth recruitment. Hopefully we can get some good French youngsters coming in. We've got a 60,000 capacity stadium, almost a newly built stadium in 2016. And in terms of our finances, also in a very good position. £78 million in the bank balance, £17 million to spend on the transfer budget. In terms of debts and loans, we do have a big bank loan to pay off of 160 million and some other debt that adds up to about 80 million. So hopefully we can clear a little bit of this debt. But to be honest, the way that we do these rebuilds, we've only got 5 years. So depending on how far we get in the 5 years, the video will end no matter what. So hopefully we can win something. But in that time, as we do try and win the Champions League in a pretty short space of time and turn this club around, we're going to have to spend quite a lot of money. We're going to have to sign the right kind of people, put some money on installments and all that kind of thing. But hopefully we can get it all right. In terms of our staff situation, we've got a decent set of staff, not the best in the league, but close in some areas. Our director of football, Janino, who is obviously one of Lyon's legends, of course, he has been asked by me to go and sign as many scouts as you want, as many staff members as you want. He's in charge of all that, and hopefully he sorts out our staff team to be the best in the division, or at least the best behind PSG, because I imagine, like most things in this video, it's going to be pretty hard to catch them. Our squad, however, is not a bad one at all. I'm not sure what tactic we'll use yet. We'll look at that after I've done the first set of transfers, because I need to evaluate the squad and all of that good stuff. But we've got a good goalkeeper in Anthony Lopez, a good leader at the club, been here for quite a while. Denaya, Boateng are both decent centre-backs. Leo Dubois is a very good right-back and captain of the club. We've got Emerson on loan from Chelsea at left back, a few other good players in there, a nice youngster in Malo Gusto who has 5-star potential at right back. We'll see if we get a chance to develop him in this video. We've got decent central midfielders with Bruno Guimaraes, I don't know how you pronounce that, hopefully I won't have to pronounce that too many times in the video, and Hassam Ouar, who is of course one of the most sought after midfielders in world football, or at least a few years ago he would have been. Haven't heard as much about him in the last couple of years. Then we've got the likes of Xherdan Shaqiri, Islam Slimani, Moussa Dembele, who I believe will probably be our starting striker. He did go on loan to Atletico Madrid. He's been at Lyon for a few years after joining Celtic, but something must have happened that meant that he didn't play much. Went to Atletico Madrid, doesn't seem to have worked out at all. He's back here and it's a clean slate with me. I think I'll give him a decent chance up front, but the most exciting prospect in the team is Rayan Cherki. He's an either-footed wonderkid, 5-star potential, has been around for a couple of years in Football Manager now as one of these players that, you know, if you can get him, you've got a player for the next 10, 20 years almost. Very good down the middle, very good on the left-hand side, which is likely where I'll use him, but it depends what kind of tactic we run with. But at 17 years of age, a very silky player, very good technically, a dribbler, and I'm very excited to see what he can do. Looking at the club vision before we go into our first bit of simulating, club culture, develop players using the club's youth system. We'll try, it depends on who comes through. Play attacking football, I would like to do that myself. And they also want us to sign players based in France. They want us to keep the best youth system in the country, which apparently we already have, which is great. Sign young players to develop for a profit, tends to be what you do in these kind of rebuild videos. Reach quarterfinals of the Europa League. So yeah, they're not expecting too much. Speaking of, we are in the Europa League. They must have got a 5th place or 6th place finish last year. They're not in the Champions League, only the Europa League, but they want us to qualify for the Champions League this season. I think with the squad we've got, we can do it, but with that being said, it's about time I go make some transfers, try and improve the squad, so I'll see you once I've brought some players in. Okay, we are back. It's the 29th of July. We've had a bit of time to make some transfers, and I'm pretty settled on the squad that I'm going to be using and the tactic we're going to be using as we get very close to the start of our Ligue 1 season. To be honest, the friendlies haven't gone too well, but the assistant manager takes care of all of that. If you don't know the premise of these rebuild videos, I purely do the transfer side of things. We simulate year upon year, seeing how the club improves, and then in the 5th season, we'll probably simulate whatever the biggest match is on camera. You can watch the highlights, see how the club plays. But the aim is just to try and take this team from where they are now and rebuild them slowly to hopefully some kind of glory. But it doesn't always work out like that. We got very lucky in the Ajax one that we just managed to scrape, I think, the Champions League in season 5 or 4, and I didn't expect that at all. Hopefully we can have some kind of replication of that, although there's not as many sellable players in our team as there was with Ajax, which really gave us a bit of a head start. But if we have a look at the players that we have bought in, we have done a little bit of business. Firstly, we bought in Matias Arezzo from River Plate Montevideo out in Uruguay. He is a good Uruguayan striker. I wanted a backup to Dembele. I don't know how much Arezzo is going to play, to be honest, but he's here. If the assistant manager chooses to use him while we're holidaying, I think he'll get a great return out for us. But I have loaned him out until the end of the season for this first year, but he will be part of our squad next year. However, the first player that does come in to help our team straight away is Anel Ahmedhodzic. We had a few elderly centre-backs. I say elderly, they're like 30, 31 in the likes of Boateng, and there was one more, I think. Tactically, we are just going to be playing 2 centre-backs, so I imagine Ahmedhodzic will be the 3rd or 2nd choice centre-back. I don't know what the assistant manager is going to decide, but we have signed him for only £5 million from Malmo. I think he'll have a good career with us. I think he'll do a good job. 6'5", physically imposing, can play the ball out too. I think he'll be a great signing. And then you might have seen we do have one player coming in later down the line in January. We've signed him on an approach to sign from Bodo Glimt, is Fredrik Bjorkan, who is a very good left-footed wing back. He's not fully scouted yet, but as you can see, no matter what it is, he's got very good physicals, nice mentals, and decent technicals going forward too. The Norwegian is already capped for the national team, and I think for free that is a very good bit of business, no compensation, and hopefully he'll either contribute to our squad or make a bit of profit from him. So I think that is some good business. There wasn't any major sales out of the club, so that's pretty much everything that we're going to go for first season wise. I mean, they've already made the transfers in real life, we just added a couple onto it. So we'll see how this squad does in the first year, take it from there, but hopefully we can aim for a Champions League finish this year, because that is what the board want. I don't want to get sacked straight away, and maybe a decent run in the Europa League, semi-finals, quarter-finals, I think I'd be very happy with. So first season with Lyon, how's it going to go? Hopefully this rebuild gets off to a good start. It's time to find out. Okay, the first season is done, and we have done very, very well in my opinion. I think we've had a very good season with this squad that we didn't do too much to. We'll have a look at exactly what we did in a second, but just to show you what tactic I ended up going with once we had all the players come in, it was just pretty much a simple 4-3-3 positive tiki-taka. It's the vertical tiki-taka that you can just put as a preset. I went 4-3-3 and then just adjusted some player roles, and that is pretty much all I did. And the only requirements that I had while simulating was that Ryan Cherky be used on this left wing constantly as often as possible to try and develop him a little bit. He had a fairly good season, not the world's best mind you, but still a good season in my eyes. And then, I mean, talking of a good season, the club has done brilliantly. Not only did we win the Coupe de France, which is obviously brilliant to win. I don't know where PSG got knocked out here. It looks like they might have got knocked out very early on. Maybe they weren't taking it all that serious. Still, there you go. They got knocked out by Bordeaux in penalties. We'll definitely take that. And we ended up beating Strasbourg 4-2 in the final in extra time. So very happy with that. A first bit of silverware for the club under our management. For the Europa League, we got to the second knockout round. I would have liked to have gone further, but the team we got knocked out by, Borussia Dortmund, what more can you expect? I imagine they probably went on to get very far in the competition. Yeah, there you go. They ended up winning it. So I can't complain about that at all. With Erling Haaland up front, what do you expect? Dortmund are a very nice side, and if there was anyone to knock us out, it would have been them. Without it, I think we would have gone fairly far, considering how good form we were in. Then comes a league where we've done absolutely brilliantly to get a Champions League spot. Not only that, we are the best of the rest in the league this year, coming second by quite a long margin ahead of Monaco, but similarly, a very big margin still behind PSG. 87 points is nothing to be sad about. 27 wins, 6 draws, 5 losses. However, PSG went unbeaten all year, 6 draws, 32 wins. Feels like no matter how well we do, it's going to be very hard to topple them. I would suggest that we might even have more of a chance of a Champions League win than we would a Ligue 1 win, because PSG across the space of a season, they're going to be very hard to deal with. But hopefully, with a few transfers and as we buy young players to develop, maybe we can get there to the level where we can kind of compete with them, with the Wonderkids that we sign for cheap while they're spending loads of money. Maybe them Wonderkids can develop into as good players as what PSG have. First season, you can't complain about this at all. Bit of silverware, decent Europa League run, and a second place finish in Ligue 1. There's going to be plenty of work to be done in the transfer market. We have been given £32 million to spend. All of these players are players running out of contracts and stuff. I decided not to renew. So we're going to the second season now, see what transfers we've made, and see if we can improve on that amazing first season. It's going to be very hard to, but we'll do our best. Okay, here we are. Season 2 transfers are underway. As you can see, Frederick Bjorken did join us halfway through last season and had a great season since joining in January. He's a very good player, and for free, I think that's a brilliant signing. Physically, very, very good as a left back. I forgot to mention, I must have done this sale and completely forgot about it, but I sold Carl Toko Akambi for 6.75 million apparently. Good bit of business in my eyes. I don't know how much he's actually worth. About that. Yeah, that's fine. I don't think we were going to use him. He was getting on in age. We also decided to sell Damien De Silva. He's 34 years of age. Lyon bought him in on a free. We basically used him never, so we thought why not sell him on for a profit. But then came our second season transfers after a very good first season. We were beginning to attract players of a fairly decent nature, and hopefully we were just trying to replicate the run that we had in the league again. If we can keep up with PSG a bit closer, that would obviously be great. And then Champions League, if we can make it out the group stages, I think that would be my aim for this first season. But to do that, we spent a fair bit of money and sold a fair few players too. We'll start off with the sales, I suppose. So we did sell club captain Leo Dubois, who is definitely a very good right back, caps for the French national team. But we scouted someone who I believe could be better for us in the long run, and arguably even straight away. And when the offer came in from Celta Vigo for around 13.25 million, that covered a lot of the fee for the player who was arguably better than him. So I thought, you know what, we'll let Dubois go. We've got some leaders in the squad who can take over. But we also did sell one of the dressing room's figureheads in Jerome Boateng to Hertha Berlin. He goes back to Germany after coming to us from Bayern Munich. He had a great season for us, but again, he's getting on in age. If we can get any money for him before I had to renew his contract, I was going to take it. We also sold a couple of fringe players too. Tino Kadewere, a striker backup, a left wing backup, kind of just a versatility player, has gone to Nantes for 2.3. Nantes, I do this every time. I really do need to look up how to actually pronounce that team's name, so I'm not putting any false allegations to this player's name, but I do apologise. Let's move on to the players that we did bring in. Nicolas Soulé has joined us from Bayern Munich on a free. His contract was expiring. German in the prime of his career. Boateng leaves for 5 million. Soulé comes in for free. We haven't actually had to pay that much money for him, I would think, in wages. I don't think that's bad at all. If you compare that to Boateng's wages, it wouldn't have been much difference. We get a younger player too, plenty of caps for the German national team, a star in his own right, and he is going to be probably our best centre-back, maybe even our best defender, maybe even one of the best players at the club on a free deal. I think that is perfect. I did mention that we sold our right-back Leo Dubois for 13.25 million to cover most of the fee for a player who I thought could be better for us, and that was Wilfried Singo of Torino. The Ivorian is 21 years of age. We've looked for a young player again to hopefully sell on for a bit of a profit, and considering what we signed him for, his valuation is very good, so I'm very happy with the transfer that we've made there. He's obviously a better player than what we paid for him. Currently a 3-star player, but he's got plenty of potential to grow. Definitely fits the attacking mould that we have in our system, because we do play wing backs, not just full backs. So we will be looking for a good return from him going forward, but physically he is very good, very quick, 6'3" as well, could arguably do a decent job at centre-back, but we're not going to use him there. Good mental attributes too, good determination, nice technicals as well. Wilfried Singo joins the club, and I think he is a perfect fit for what we're trying to do here at Lyon. However, we didn't sign any French players so far, and the board seemed pretty annoyed at that, so I might have to keep an eye on that in the next couple of years. If he's French, if he's not French, it doesn't bother me. I just want to bring in talent that can actually help the team, and I think we've done that here with Andrea Papetti. He was someone that was very good on FM21. I didn't think much of him on FM22 so far, not that I didn't think he was good, I just never really thought about him at all. But then a scout popped through, said he's available for cheap, he's a very good player according to the scouts, at least in this save, and I thought, you know what, he's had a great season for Brescia. We'll go on to pay £4.7 million for him, and I think it's a great bit of business. He's valued at way higher, and I think as the years go on, that'll just keep going up. Physically very good, wish he was a little bit taller, but that's fine. Very good technically and great mentally as well. Room to grow at 20 years of age, and he's a 4-star player already apparently, as good as Nicolas Soulé, according to our staff members who are reviewing this, so I'll definitely take that. Then finally we signed the player who I have to do in every rebuild really. Maybe I'll try and avoid it next time just so we don't keep signing him, but Karim Adeyemi from Red Bull Salzburg, we've got to get him before PSG do at least. We've paid pretty much pennies for this guy, £50 million. Obviously isn't pennies, but then you compare it to what he's now worth straight after joining us, anywhere from 70 million to 100 million. What a great bit of business. It's purely because he's playing for Salzburg. He's going to be undervalued there, so we had to bring him in. He's had a great year for them in that first season. Left-footed on that right-hand side, Cherki on one side, Adeyemi on the other. He is going to cause problems. He's already coming in at 20 years old, expecting to be a star player, so hopefully he can perform to the level that he's asking for. And it does mean that our squad is looking very nice now. If we hop over to the tactics, we're still keeping Cherki as the forced left-sided player, but then I've added in Adeyemi to be forced to play on the right, and Singo at right-back. That should still mean that Dembele and Arezzo will rotate up front. The midfield can kind of have anyone picked. If we do go to, here we go, squad depth, and then we hit best 11, we can see what our best team would be according to our assistant manager at least, and that is Lopez in goal, Bjorkan, Soulé, Papetti, Singo, Bruno Guimaraes, Ren Adelaide, who is a very good central midfielder. I'm very surprised that Aouar isn't in here. I think he's way better than Adelaide, but whatever the assistant manager wants, I suppose. Lucas Paqueta in the midfield as well. And then we've got Shaqiri, Ryan Cherki and Adeyemi. Not exactly the system we're going to play, but we do have a very nice balanced squad now with decent players all over the pitch. Very excited to see what we can do. Staff-wise, Juninho did a perfect job, has upgraded our coaching team to be very good and our scouting team to be equally as good. Physios he didn't do too much of a good job at, but, you know, Juninho's done fine. Very happy with that. And now we have our second season squad. I definitely think it's a better squad than what we did have. We didn't have to lose too much quality to bring quality in, so I'm very happy with that. We're going to see how we get on in our second season. Maybe a Champions League run, that would be great. Let's see how we do. Okay, so it's May 2023. Our second season is over and we have finished second in the league yet again. This time it was a much more close run thing because Lille and Monaco, despite us only getting 5 points less than what we got in the first season, Lille and Monaco were right up our tails the whole time. Only a couple points between us getting second place and us being in the Europa League. PSG still fairly far ahead, but I feel like that was less points than before, which is, I guess, a good sign. It might even be the exact same points, I don't know. But PSG having less of a good season at least, that's something to take from it. Before we go and have a look at our other competitions, let's have a look at how some of our star players did across the course of the season. Moussa Dembele has been hitting goals in for fun this year and is one of the deadliest strikers in Europe now, so very happy with his performance. Aouar doing very well in the midfield too. 7 goals, 12 assists and a 7.4 average match rating in the most recent season. Ahmed Hodzic apparently did well as well. He is currently wanted by Dortmund. I'll try not to sell him because I think he's looking like a very good player for us now. 24-year-old Bosnian, plenty of international caps, has done brilliantly for us since signing for only £5 million. We would get way more than that, 10 times that amount now if we were to sell him. So very happy in all areas really. If we then go to average rating, we can see Dembele, Aouar and Singo were classed as the best players. So Arezzo also doing well, but Singo, we'll have a look at him before moving on to seeing how he did in the competitions. But we signed him to be our starting right back. He has done exactly that, played plenty of games, has had a lot of assists up front, which is great. 8 assists from there, 7.35 average match rating, contributing 2 goals the way we would have wanted. very happy with the signing of Wilfried Singo. Before we have a look how we did in our Champions League run, don't forget to hit the like button if you are enjoying it, really would mean a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm very happy to take any tips and feedback on board just to make these videos that little bit better hopefully for you guys. And 21, I didn't mention this, but 21 who is expecting a Wolfsburg video, they will come back. The Wolfsburg series is continuing. I just want to drop in a one-off rebuild video every now and then because it brings an extra bit of audience to the channel, and hopefully that means the channel can grow even more. So, Champions League, how did we do? We didn't make it out the groups. That was a bit underwhelming. How did we do in the group stage then? Did we have a tough group? Did we have an easy group? I would have thought we would have been second seeds for a group, so maybe we should have gone through. Where are we? Ouch. That is a very poor performance from us there. Although, Liverpool in the group, you expect them to go through. The more annoying thing is we only needed one more point and we would have qualified. Roma and Copenhagen getting one more point than us. Surely we should have beat Copenhagen. We lost to them 3-0 away. Lost to Liverpool both times, I understand that, and Roma 1-0 away. Only just scraping past both teams as well at home. That was a really poor performance from us actually in the Champions League. We do need to do better. How did Adeyemi do actually? I haven't actually checked that. How did Adeyemi do for us this year? He didn't contribute as many goals as I might have expected, but he's been a decent player for us and he's got room to grow, so I'm fine with Adeyemi for now on that side. And Cherki, is he starting to fulfil his potential at all? Pretty much the same as the first season actually, but I'm getting to the point now where I'm going to start expecting more from him, and if he doesn't do well in the next season, maybe we'll look to actually bring in someone of experience in that position, because Cherki really should be doing better than that. But that's our team, that's how we've done. Maybe we need to change up the tactics or something to get past some of these better teams. We'll see how the vertical tiki-taka goes in pre-season with the new players that we bring in. But speaking of which, it's time to bring in some new players. Season 3 transfers, we're only doing 5 seasons, so it's about now where we really need to start bringing in the top quality players to hopefully give us a good Champions League run in this 3rd season. Okay, here we go, the start of Season 3, and we haven't spent that much money this time round. We've pretty much spent what we've bought in terms of transfer fees, and actually we're working at a little bit of a profit, but compared to the first year, we're not overspending too much. I'm fine with what we're doing. We're running a nice bit of business here, and the way that we're doing in the competitions, I'm sure the board can't be complaining with the signings we are making. But we did sell a few £5-6 million players this year round, so let's have a look at who we did move on from the club. So Xherdan Shaqiri has gone to Newcastle for £7.75 million. Newcastle still in the Premier League. All that money to spend, of course. And yeah, he's gone over to there. He's been decent for us the last couple of years, but not really amazing. And with Adeyemi at the club, Shaqiri is probably going to want to be a starter. He's not going to be with Adeyemi there, so we'll move him on. We'll let him go. He's been a bit of a journeyman, hasn't he, Shaqiri? So he's going to go continue his journey in the first club that we managed in FM22 in Newcastle, so good luck to him there. We then sold Jeff Ran Adelaide to Benfica for £8.5 million, which is a little bit more than what they value him at now, so I think that's a good bit of business. Didn't play too much in that second year. He's always been good, but just not playing consistently enough. We'll take that money and we'll buy someone more important, which you'll see in a minute. We did some pretty good transfer swaps, I would say. We then sold Anthony Lopez to Porto for £8.5 million, and Jason Denayer leaves at the back. He's getting on in age. There wasn't going to be many more times we could sell him. He's been pretty good for us though, don't get me wrong, but I thought for £11 million, going to Turkey to a team like Trabzonspor probably shows his level and goes to show that, you know, we've probably got better players at the club, and you'll see that in a minute with some of the guys that we have signed and the way that our squad is looking. So if we do have a look at some of the players that we've bought in, firstly, the ones I think would be less important, we've got Rodrigo on loan from Real Madrid. This was just for a bit of cover with Shaqiri leaving, just in case someone gets injured. Rodrigo can come in on the wing, and being a loan player, he's not going to expect all that much, so we bring him in on loan for a total fee of £1.7 million. Then for £1 million we've signed Dennis Gonzalez. He's a Paraguayan with plenty of international experience and looks like a pretty decent player. The scouts picked him up. I thought, you know what, £1 million. He's been very good for Olympia out in Paraguay. Obviously this is a different level of the game, but I figured why not bring him in, see what he can do for us. He'll be an option on either wing if anyone gets injured yet again. Maybe it'll be the bargain that goes on to win us the Champions League. You don't know in Football Manager, them kind of things can happen. Then we signed Billy Gilmore for £3 million. I believe it was an approach to sign with a compensation fee. £3 million is a brilliant bit of business. It allowed us to sell Jeff Ran Adelaide for a bit of a profit, bring Gilmore in, a player who is of a decent level already and has potential to grow into an even better player. And then, and this will show a change of system in a minute that we've actually gone for, we've signed Thiago Almada from Vélez. He is a Football Manager wonderkid in every sense of the word, the one that everybody signs, wants to be a star player straight away. £135,000 a week makes him one of the highest paid, if not the highest paid player at the club, but he's a 4.5-star player at 22. Plenty of caps for Argentina, has been doing great for Vélez. We had to get there before someone else picked him up, and I think he'll be very, very good for us in the attacking midfield role, which we now have in our team. And then, obviously, we did sell our captain and goalkeeper, Anthony Lopez. Kind of brushed over that one, but we sold him for £8.5 million and bought in for about £12.5 million. Fiorentina's goalkeeper, Dragowski. He's a 25-year-old Polishman, only one appearance for the national team, but pretty much at the same level Lopez was, a lot younger. We cash in on Lopez, don't have to give him an extra contract. He was getting old. Dragowski comes in probably 8-9 years younger than Lopez, and hopefully will do the same job that Lopez has been doing for a few years, which is just being a solid goalkeeper option for us. We'll see how far we can get with Dragowski. Not one that I've ever signed before, but someone that I know is quite often a pick-up in Football Manager because of how well he does. But I did mention a change in tactics. We'll have a quick look at that before we get on with our third season. And this is what we're going for this year. So we've now changed to a gegenpress. I still think I might go for positive as opposed to balanced. But I've gone for a gegenpress system and kind of move the midfield around. I couldn't find anyone because in the old tactic we were using, we had a player at the base of midfield here. And I just couldn't find anyone who really perfected that role. It was the one area in our team where the average rating was never high. They weren't having very good output. So I thought, you know what if we just move him into the middle? We've got some very good central midfielders. If we just sign someone good to play through the middle, we've then got a very good attacking lineup. And I think we've got good enough quality in these two central midfield areas to just, it won't matter what these guys do because these guys should be able to handle it in the middle. So to make sure that that is the case, I have gone for Almada to push through the middle, make sure he's always playing. Cherki and Adeyemi make a very good young front three, and Hassem Aouar will be forced to play in that Messala role as we simulate as long as he's fit, meaning we've got players like Paqueta, Guimarães, Gilmour to fill in the other role, and also they'll play of course if Aouar gets injured, and then Wilfred Singo still being our right back, forced to play. Every other position is up for grabs. We've got some very decent centre-back options, but maybe we need a little bit more quality in them going forward because 3-star, I suppose, isn't great after all. Wing-back, we've still got Bjorkan, who is doing a good job for us. He might need a bit of backup, a bit of cover, but we'll see how we get on with him. But with that being said, I think we simulate our third season here, see how this team does with a little bit of a change of system, a better player going through the middle. Can we get any better output, be more attacking, maybe do better in the league and try and catch up to PSG? There's only one way to find out, so let's have a look and get right into it. Okay, here we are, the end of season 3, and it's been a very, very interesting season. We've actually got less points than we did in any other year so far, but we are closer to the league title. I think as time's gone on, the French First Division here is getting a lot more competitive. Teams like Strasbourg, Nice, Rennes getting 50 plus points. Now we've got Lille, Monaco, Marseille all getting 60 plus points, us getting 70 plus, and PSG just cracking that 80 mark with 86 points. So there's plenty of decent teams now. It's not just a battering ground that it used to be where anyone from 8th place down just gets beat 10-0 every time. There's a lot more teams picking up points every now and then. PSG have gone from being an unbeaten team to losing 2 games, drawing 5 games as opposed to 6, but these losses are of course a big deal for PSG, and we are only losing about as many as they are. We actually beat them for the first time I think so far this year, so very happy with that. And in the Champions League we got to the quarter-final where we only got knocked out by one of the best teams in Football Manager, one of the most overpowered teams, Manchester United. So to get to the quarter-final I was pretty happy with. If we look at the team that we were going with in that quarter-final, where is it about here? This is apparently what our best team would have been for this match. It was Drakowski, Singo, Akmenhodzic, Papetti, Bjorkan. So these are all players we bought in so far. Almada, Guimarães, Aouar, Adeyemi, Cherki, Moussa Dembele, and then Soulé, Gilmour and Dennis Gonzalez getting on. How's he done for £1 million? Not very good. And his star rating has completely dropped, so maybe the scouts got that one wrong. But yeah, just in general, another season of progress. It's progress. I don't know how else to say it. We're not winning anything yet, but we're on 3 out of 5 years so far, so only 2 more years left. We're getting further in the Champions League. If we can knock it up one more next year, semi-final, knock it up the year after, final, can we then win it? That would be the best way to go about it, I think. And the league, we're getting very close to PSG now, actually beating them in goal difference as well. In terms of what their squad looks like now, though, it's a very good one. I'm pretty sure they signed Erling Haaland. They signed Haaland, Declan Rice. They've got a very nice team. I don't know who this guy is, but yeah, PSG still going very strong. Neymar and Messi sitting there in her reserves with Donnarumma, Mendes, Hakimi. It's a very good PSG team. Even Anthony Martial, lucky them, eh? But yeah, it's going to be hard to catch PSG. It's going to be hard to win the Champions League, but we're getting there slowly. If we just quickly have a look at our finances, we now have £96 million in the bank balance and more debt than we actually had before, which is maybe a fault on my part. But, you know, we're doing well with the team. We're developing them. We'll get something worthwhile with a league title at the end of it all. I promise them that. Or something, maybe a Champions League. Whatever we might get. They've been devastated that we're signing players based in France, but everything else they're seemingly pleased with. So we'll have another year here. The squad is developing very nicely, so hopefully season 4 can be an even better season. But now we need to bring some players in, get rid of some players, and try and enhance this team the best we can. Okay, season 4 transfers, and as I did mention, I didn't think we did too bad last year, so I didn't actually sell anyone. We did sign a few players, all in various positions, but all of which I think will just end up being backups in their specific area. But it will just give us a little bit more competition in our squad, and hopefully will mean that, you know, if someone gets injured, if someone isn't fit, we have a good enough player to come in. We're building squad depth now. We're at a good stage of this rebuild. We have signed Pablo Torre from Barcelona for £12 million. He was available on the transfer list. The scouts were recommending him with A+ ratings because of how cheap he was for the player you can get. He's actually never even appeared for Barcelona, only for Barcelona B, but we've gone for it. He looks like a very good player. Barca must be blessed with talent to never use a guy like this, but we've brought him in. Hopefully he can contribute. Similar story with Jean-Claire Todibo of Nice. We brought him in to be our 4th centre-back pretty much. We've got Sule, Todibo, Papetti and Ahmed Hozic. 3 very good centre-backs, neither of them super far apart in terms of their level, but I do like Todibo. Again, it's another ex-Barca player. He's French as well, which does help with the board, who are getting a bit annoyed that we weren't signing French players. So Todibo comes in as a backup option at the back. We then signed Alan Rodriguez for £1 million. Again, another one where we just wanted a bit of depth on the wing. Has been fine out for Boston River out in Uruguay, so £1 million is absolutely nothing to us. Hopefully he'll contribute with a goal, and that makes up for the £1 million we spent, I think. Then, as we saw last year, Bjorkan was a bit on his own at left-back really, no competition, so we have signed Borna Sosa. He's a Croatian with 14 appearances for the national team, valued at around the same as what we bought him for, a decent squad player at left-back, and hopefully suits our system quite well. So, as you can see at this point, I'm not expecting too much of a massive upgrade in performance or too much of a massive overhaul needed for the squad. I think we've rebuilt the club in a very nice way. We just need to take that extra step, be a little bit better, and hopefully we'll do better this year with more depth and more freedom in terms of the player choices that we'll be able to use. I'm actually going to clear a few of these slots, I think, and just let the assistant manager pick based on pure fitness and not just try and force someone in if they can play. That way we should get the likes of Adeyemi, Cherki, Almada performing at a decent level across the board, because they won't have to worry about always playing every single match. They can rotate in and out, be fit, be fresh, and hopefully do better for us in the long run. So here we are, the start of season 4, and just to brief you, I'm on the club info screen because we have done something pretty crazy in the league, and I want you to build up your anticipation for it. But we've done awesome. It's been a great year for us. So let's have a look how we've done in season 4. There you go. We are champions of Ligue 1. We've managed to topple PSG, but even better than that, we finished on the exact same amount of points as them, the exact same amount of games drawn and lost. We've just beat them on goal difference, which is great. I actually think it came down pretty late in the season. I had a look at this earlier. Look, we won 7-1 on the last day. I don't know what that meant for us if we go to competitions. If we took away 7 goals, so 6 goal difference from what we had because it was 7-1, it would have been very, very close. We really made sure we won that on the last day there. The players obviously were determined after a late loss to Lorient. They just went for it against Rennes and just scored goal after goal after goal. A hat-trick from Adeyemi, Dembele and Aouar getting one as well. We've been very good. We've been very good across the course of the season, almost PSG levels. It actually started off quite rough. We did well in the first part of the season, then we played PSG. Lost 4-1, and you just start to think it's another one of them years where we're never going to get close to them. And then we lose in the Champions League, we win at home to Monaco, lose again in Ligue 1. And I imagine at this point the players were probably thinking it's going to be a similar story. Then we just kept going and going and going, barely lost a game at all. I don't think we lost a game past that point in the league. We lost all our games early on. There must have been one more somewhere. Of course, it was the second to last game of the season. And we did absolutely brilliantly. Champions League wise though, it was a pretty poor showing, I can't lie, but playing Manchester United again, they're very hard to get past. If we do have a look, we didn't do great, did we? 4-1 on aggregate against Manchester United. Wasn't a great year in the Champions League, but we can forgive it. Maybe that is why we did so well in Ligue 1 and PSG didn't. Maybe they were playing in the Champions League for a while. They got all the way to the semi-finals, so they were obviously had different things on their mind. Chelsea beating them 5-1. Tell me Chelsea won. I don't know, Chelsea haven't actually played the final yet, but there you go. We've done really well. It's been a great season. Now, with one more year left of this rebuild, Hopefully we can retain a Ligue 1 title, because the better we can do in Ligue 1, at least we'll be successful no matter what. But then if we can just push for a Champions League semi-final, final, whatever it might be, just gives ourselves a chance of winning it. I'm excited to see what we can do, so let's see what this club can do. But first of all, we need to bring in a few more players to make sure the squad is ready for Season 5. Okay, here we are, Season 5, and as you can see, the transfers have been very light. No one sold of any decent quality, but we have bought him for £16.5 million, Gabriel Menino of Palmeiras. They're a club in Brazil. Menino has apparently never left there so far, but he has been hitting numbers for them for a few years. Scouts recommended him very highly. He would be perfect for that deep line playmaker defence role that we have in our system, so we brought him in. He can also play right back if needed. Gabriel Menino is a very versatile player, an all-rounder who will hopefully do a great job for us. Just a quick look at the Dev Centre to show you a few of the players that we have developed over a course of our time here, and there have been a fairly few good ones that I haven't actually spoke about. So we've got Mikel Chevert here as a 16-year-old Frenchman. If I go to the rest of the squad, sort by general info, and then we'll go to age, we can see a couple of the better ones here. So we've got Jalen Faramasi Nabab. He's an 18-year-old centre-back with some very good physical attributes, very, very nice physical attributes. He's just been on loan for a year, I believe, at Nancy. Done well for them. Oh, everything sounds like Nantes. It's Nantes and Nancy. I really do need to be careful saying some of these French team names, but yeah, he looks great. I'm sure he'll do well if we were to continue to save for 10 plus years. He will easily make the first team, as will this guy, Kylian Marchard, a 17-year-old Frenchman with some amazing, amazing attributes at his age. Reminds me a bit of Ryan Cherky when we first had him, who, by the way, has become a very nice player over the course of our seasons here. The last couple of years, he's been hitting 7 average match ratings. His attributes are immense. He's still got loads of room to grow. Not sure if he's ever going to get there, but he's been good for us. He's been very good, as has Karim Adeyemi, who's been a bit upset in the last season, actually, that we didn't sell him on, but we decided to keep him. I think winning the league meant that a lot of these players are now happy again. So with our final season on the horizon, we'll have a look how we do, have a look at the team that we've built, and then we'll watch one match, whatever it might be, whether it's the Champions League knockout round first, or it's the quarterfinal, or it's the final, however far we get, we'll watch to see how our team did, how our team lined up. Everybody cross your fingers at home, and hopefully we can win the Champions League in our final season here with Lyon. Okay everybody, here we are, the end of Season 5 of our LYON Rebuild, and as is custom with these videos, I don't go and click around on the last season, I just witness it at the same time as you guys, but we've done fairly well by the looks of it. Another league win. Oh my god. It's on goal difference again, I've only just looked at that. The same amount of points as PSG, this time only 2 goals in it. That is huge. I'm going to look at the schedule soon to see how many goals we did on the last day of the season, because that is absolutely massive what we've done there. Champions League I have no idea about yet, but Moussa Dembele, we need to look at him because he has hit crazy numbers this year. 43 goals in 34 games, a 7.66 average match rating, 68 goals in all comps for Moussa Dembele. Wow, what a star. Give yourself a standing ovation. Aouar doing very well for our team as well. But now it's time to find out how he did in all competitions. We've won the Coupe de France, we were runners-up in the Trophée des Champs, but... Oh, I was going to say, oh my god, I got excited then. I just saw that this was still here and I thought, does that mean that we're still in the competition? We're not. PSG are though, for what I assume is going to be the final. So when did we get knocked out? Quarter-final. We're still in it, we're still in at the quarters. We got further than last time. Beating Liverpool 5-2, 4-0 away at Anfield. Wow, that would have been a game to watch for a Lyon fan. Semi-final then, we must not have made it. We didn't. We got beat by Chelsea. 6-2 on aggregate, not really close, but much better than we've done in recent seasons. I have no doubt if we had kept it up, we would have kept doing amazing things with this club. I've just seen here that Youssoufa Moukoko has hit an 8.34 average match rating, so he's done very well for Dortmund. He's wanted by PSG. Okay, maybe we would never have stood a chance again if they'd signed him and played him with Erling Haaland up front. Wow, yeah. Thank God we're quitting after 5 years, guys, because if PSG got him, their squad would have been absolutely loaded. But I think that's a good season. We've won the French League, we've won the French Cup. We never got to get any European glory with our club here at Lyon, but I'm sure if we kept it up, we would have done. If we go down and have a look, how did we do then? First of all, I want to see the last game of the season. So we won the league by 2 goal difference. It was a tight one as well, because we drew on the last game of the year. It looks like we came back to get a draw as well from 3-1 down. Very impressive stuff from us there, not to give up and to scramble the title back in the 81st minute with a Moussa Dembele penalty. PSG we beat in the French Cup final, so very happy with that. It looks like we started to slow up towards the end of the season. The first half of the season was very good. Then we started to slow down, but if we do have a look at... I would go and watch this Chelsea game, but it's just going to be Chelsea scoring, so let's watch this Liverpool game. It was at home, sorry, where we won 4-0. I thought we won 4-0 at Anfield, but let's have a look at the match and at our goal scorers. Dembele, Soulé, Adeyemi and Aouar. Let's see what this looks like. Let's see what kind of team we put out. So it was Cherki, Almada, Adeyemi, Dembele, Menino, Aouar, Bjorkamp, Petty, Soulé, Singo and Drakowski. I think this is the team I would have played, to be honest. Cherki, Dembele and Aouar, the only surviving members of a team that we originally inherited in that first 11. Gilmour, Paqueta, Arezzo, Guimaraes, Ahmed Hozic on the bench, Renard, whoever he is, he must be a young goalkeeper. Yeah, so it does go to show how much depth I actually built at this club, that the best backup goalkeeper we had was 1 star. Maybe I was the reason that we didn't go all the way to a Champions League final. But we also have the young player on the bench as well, so it's great to see him there. He is a top prospect, already valued at £40 million. We beat Liverpool 4-0, I assume, because on aggregate it was like 5-1, right? So the first leg must have been a lot closer. And then we just came out and absolutely stormed it in this next one. So here we go, Dembele slots a penalty into the bottom right corner after 24 minutes. So actually Liverpool win 2-1 in the first leg, there you go. So we had to have a comeback to get through. Soulé with a header from a Cherki corner. Then we've got, what's this, Tammy Abraham heading it away for Liverpool. Almada tucks it back to Wilfred Singo. He's massive, isn't he? Plays it to Papetti, Adeyemi, rifles it in to the back of the net. It looks like we do play some nice football, but everything seems to have been a set piece so far. Here we have a throw-in with Bjorkan. Gilmour, he had a great debut against Liverpool, of course, in the FA Cup, or maybe not debut, but that was really where he shone out for the first time. And here he is, he's played a great ball into Aouar, the captain, who scores the winning goal for us, sends us into the next round. Would have been nice to have won a Champions League, I can't lie, but you know what, we'll take it. It's been a great rebuild, we've done a great job with Lyon here. I've really enjoyed it. I love making these one-off rebuild videos. We will have normal service resuming in the next video with Wolfsburg, but do let me know what you thought of the video. Let me know if you liked it, if you want to see more, who you'd like to see next, of course. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. There's a join button there, which if you click, there'll be a video of me explaining what it is before you have to actually do anything with it. So if you want to check that out, then that's awesome. But yeah, thank you guys. FM22 has been great fun so far. Lots of growth on the channel. Hopefully we'll have a great new year, and maybe we'll be on 6,000 subscribers soon. Who knows, 10,000 subscribers by the end of FM22? We'll see what we can do. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.